People may say that it's killing me insane, but I'ma stand tall, soldier of hurt and pain, and I won't go away.
Life's about survival, a day-to-day fight, downright to the bone, where most won't go and most don't know how it feels to have ideals no one appeals to. It kills your will do when the cause revealed to be both red and black, and there's nothing to match what runs down your back, and tears fall on your lap, and all I have is belief. But that's all I need, with the will to succeed, more devotion than any one. I'm unique.
I started bodybuilding when I was 15. When I was in high school, I had a group of girls that picked on me, and they always made comments about me being too skinny, and they would always make jokes about me having like an eating disorder, or they'd always say like, oh, you look gross, you're too skinny, and we can see your bony elbows and stuff like that, and they'd kind of make fun of me, and I think at first they meant it in like a compliment, but they didn't really know how to put it. But then as I got older and went through more years of high school, they kind of turned that into a negative thing, and I felt really self-conscious. Like my clothes didn't fit right. I always had like high waters, and like my belly would show and things like that. That's part of the reason why I got into bodybuilding, was because I thought that the girls were going to beat me up. So I would spend a lot of my time in between classes hiding out in the bathroom and kind of staying at my locker a few minutes longer just to avoid these girls and like the comments in the hallways and stuff like that. So high school wasn't a very good experience for me, and I had really, really low self-esteem. I remember switching schools just because of this particular group of girls. As soon as I got my driver's license, I went to a different high school, and then I came back to that town for a party. And this one particular girl who had an issue with me, I don't know what her problem was, but she was telling this guy to throw cans of beer at me, and they were yelling mean things. And so I went and sat with some people that I thought were my friends, and she came down there and she kept calling her friends, and I felt like they were ganging up and getting ready to jump me. So I walked away. I went out to the rest of the party, tried to go where my car was, and as everything kind of came together, I could feel that people were watching me as if they anticipated something. I didn't know who was behind me. There were about 3 or 4 girls, and my dad had always taught me that if somebody touched me, to make them wish that they didn't. So I thought, if she hits me, here's my chance to get back at her. But I didn't feel very strong. I didn't feel like I could have hurt anybody, or that I could have even defended myself. And at that point, I wasn't really sure who my friends were in high school, so I felt like it was only me, and there's no way that I had a chance to even stand up for myself. So that night, I went home and I told my dad everything that had happened, and he said, well, I can help you. I can get you in the gym, show you some things, and make you feel like a little bit stronger. And so he took me to a small gym that we had belonged to, but along the way I started to meet more and more people.
My name is Brian Cleveland, and I'm Autumn Cleveland's father. So she came to me one day with a set of dumbbells and said, Daddy, what do I do with these? And I thought she just interested in working out, so I'll show you, some proper form, but she's only 14 years old, and not little skinny-legged knock-kneed thing. It was just sort of an expression of interest, and she started asking a lot of questions. I said, well, if you're really going to be interested in this, and let's do it right, let's go get you a membership at the gym. So there was a new gym opening up in Jeffersonville where we lived, and I just started taking her over there, and there wasn't any pressure to build muscle or do anything except just study form. Learn the proper way to handle weights. Learn what these machines do. Learn how to hold the weights, your posture when you're lifting, what's this muscle do, what's it. And I showed her basically everything that I knew, and it didn't take her long to absorb that. And it wasn't long before she was asking other people around the gym, why are you doing that? What's that supposed to do? She'd see them doing an exercise, and she'd be taking notes on how they're doing that and what are you supposed to be getting out of this. And it wasn't long before I realized that she already knew everything I knew. She's learning from everybody else. She's 14 years old and she already knows more about it than I do. And then one day she wanted me to order some books online for her, anatomy books and, fitness encyclopedias, things like that. By the time she was 15, she knew the name of every major muscle group in the body and its function, and started expressing an interest in bodybuilding.
I met this woman named Natalie Barnett, and she really inspired me. She was a bodybuilder, so she was bigger, she was very muscular, and I thought, I was like, that's awesome. She looks really strong, and she was pretty. So I kind of started to follow her a little bit and take some advice from her, and so I learned all the techniques. I started to build strength, and I started to really like my body, and I felt good about myself. I watched my friend Natalie do a competition, and that inspired me because I thought, I can get up there, I can get on stage and at least give it a shot. So I did my first competition when I was 16. I remember being backstage, and I thought, well, I'm just going to see how well I can do, see if anything happens. And I went out there and I did my poses, and somehow I got 5th place. So for my first competition at 16, I placed in the top 5, and then I was hooked. I got back on stage the next year, and I found out that I had gotten 8th place. So not in the top 5 at all, nowhere near that. And I got really upset. I was sad that I didn't get the top 5. I researched so much. I started to follow a lot of other bodybuilders, and I had hired my trainer now, Steve Weingarten. I hired him back then just to kind of help me with my off season and teach me some things to start to actually build muscle. So in that time, I gave myself room to grow. It also let me be a little more relaxed, and so I could really tune in mentally. There wasn't that pressure of I have to get on stage. So I really got to learn how to exercise mentally more than physically that year. Next competition in March 2012, and that's the show that I won. So that was the first. That's what would seem like the biggest accomplishment to me, and it still is. Because I had gone from 7th place to 1st place.
I'm Steve Weingarten. I'm Autumn's coach. Autumn's one of the most popular people in this gym. I mean, everybody loves Autumn. I worked with her starting, I think, 4 years ago. I've watched her grow, not only as a competitor, but also as a person. I think she gets a lot of pride out of inspiring other people.
If you nurture something to a point, you can plant a tree and you can nurture it and trim it, but after a while, that tree's growing strong on its own. There's really little that you can do, about it, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing she's her own person. She inspires others. That can't be me anymore. But am I proud of her? You bet.
Ever since I was little, my dad always told me, that I was going to do something big and that was special. Not only did it help me get on stage, but he's been there the whole time for the last 10 years. In every single competition, he makes me feel like I should have won. He's my biggest supporter, and he is my best friend.
During her prep, oh man, she told me going into this relationship that she would be forgetful. And I thought maybe that meant leaving the keys somewhere, but it's leaving the keys all the time, forgetting that there's keys that go to a car.
All of my money that I had saved, I didn't want to spend on a prom dress, and I didn't want to spend getting my hair done and my nails done for that when I could go buy a new figure suit or pay for my NPC card or pay for my tan and things like that. So I never went to prom. I'm very thankful to have my boyfriend here, just because it's a tough lifestyle in general. A lot of people talk about like how selfish bodybuilding is, but he's never made me feel like that. He's also been the one to push me. Like there's mornings where I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired, or it's cold, or I don't want to do this. And I think one time he sent me a picture of my trophy that I had won for 1st place, and that was I still have that saved on my phone because I thought it was the sweetest thing. He's also one of my biggest supporters and biggest fans, and that's very important to me, to know that the person that I come home to is the person that's still going to be there even when I'm really focused and when I'm in my zone. The person who's going to be there whether I win or lose. He's going to be there when I come off stage, every time I come home from work. Really the moral support and my admiration for him too. I mean, I can't express enough how much he inspires me to be better just by watching him and by the way he makes me feel.
I'm a big guy and I train with big guys and I lift with big guys, but about 115-pound girl is probably my biggest inspiration, just because she, nobody works harder than Autumn. Nobody.
I started a personal training business this year, and it's still very young in the business, but I've had a few clients who have allowed me to work with them for competition. All of my competitors were very successful. I had all of them in the top 3 for their divisions, and one girl had won overall for the whole show on her first try, which she has great genetics, but that really made me feel good. I felt like, I can take all the things that I've learned and help someone else feel that good on stage.
She can't wait to do something for somebody else, and that's something that you don't see very often.
To look in the mirror and say, here's what I need to fix, and it's always something. I don't care how perfect the person looks. That person sees something that you don't, and it's like an addiction. You have to fix it. You have to change it, and that poses some dangers for some very big insecurities within bodybuilding. You think this person is perfect and they have the best body, and some of them are the most insecure people.
And she's her biggest critic. So she sees her body every single day. It takes a third party or somebody else to say, "Hey, listen, you look great. You look phenomenal." But she sees her body every day, and she's her biggest critic. So there have been times in the past where she's been doubtful.
The biggest challenge is looking at yourself and saying, do I have what it takes? And for some people, the answer is no. They don't. And they find that out. Some of them find it out quickly. Some of them find it years from when they started. And the thing that's kept me going the most is that I know that I have what it takes. And I know that I want it. So it's not a question of, if I'm going to do this. It's when is it going to happen? When do I decide that it's going to happen? I'm about to go get my spray tan, my competition tan, which is a lot darker than a usual spray tan. It's like wood stain, but for people. So I'm doing it through Liquid Sunrays.
My name is Marilyn Spatola. I'm the CEO of Liquid Sunrays. We are the official tanning sponsor for the Kentucky Derby Festival Bodybuilding, Fitness, Figure, and Physique Show.
If you're not dark enough, those bright lights will wash you out, so all that hard work that you put in might not show as well.
So a lot of people think that just a normal tan or something they can do at home is going to be sufficient, but it's not. What we have is a color that's specifically formulated for competition tanning. It can mean you winning or losing, and I tell people when they talk about pricing for tanning, it's one of the last things people need for stage, so by then they seem a little tapped out and they start to think about how they can save money, but it's really not worth it. And when you think of what a person spends on diet, supplements, coaching, suits, everything else that goes into tanning, this is one of the most important aspects. So to try to save pennies at the end is kind of not a good decision.
How many customers will you have today?
I think by the end of this show, we will probably spray 250 competitors.
Figure, they go by height. Bodybuilders have to get their weight checked, but figure and bikini, it goes by height classes.
Alright, so the next time we see you, you are going to be spray tan.
Yeah, I'm going to be a different color completely. I'll be like this. This will be me. I had to go check in now, so I already have my NPC card, so I'm going to go in and basically we show proof of that. They find your entry form, and then they'll measure me for my height. I just checked in. They take your NPC card. They give you a number, which I'm 175, obviously, so you can yell for this tomorrow. Then they take your height. That's about it. That's it for me. I'm on the smaller end. I'm 107 pounds today. So if I were in a taller height class, that would probably make me look too skinny or too slender. We just snuck into the convention center the night before. So this is the setup for tomorrow, but I don't know how many people have actually seen this room. I happen to know where it is, where it was going to be, but this is the whole audience for the show, empty already. So I'm pretty excited to see this right now because it helps me visualize for tomorrow what I'm going to be looking out at. So like here's my view right here. I live in Louisville here, so I've actually been coming here every weekend for the last month to get comfortable with my surroundings and also just to kind of get a sense of where I'm going, obviously find this room. So I've kind of done some sneaky research here. I almost can't describe the way it felt when I actually did win first place, because I had practiced it so many times in my head that it wasn't I don't want to say it wasn't a surprise, but it wasn't a surprise. I had practiced winning every day in my posing, and I still do right now. When I am 13 weeks out from my show, part of my own personal posing practice is to practice winning. And that means standing with my arms up overhead in my victory pose with my little pretend trophy. And I imagine things like, the look on my coach's face, and I can hear my mom and my dad's voice calling my number or my name or my cheers from my friends. What are the sounds, and how would that feel? How would it feel to win? How would it feel to turn pro? And how would it feel to be on the Olympia stage? It's my victory pose. I'm so excited about this. This is so good. Yeah, this is a big stage. That I have to walk in my heels on this, so I'm touching this just to make sure that I practice in my heels. Oh my God, Antonio, this is such an advantage. I have to ask him a question. Lay down like a
We're just the production guys, so I would have no idea.
Do they lay down something on top of it, or are you going to stay carving?
Might stay with it.
Do you know? Do you know if there's going to be a layer on top of this, or is it just carpet tomorrow?
Guess is as good as mine on that.
Oh man, I'm so
Yeah,
glad
sorry,
I felt
I'll
this.
just do the sound
Yes!
and lights.
We like sound and lights, that's cool. Okay, so these tables here is where the judges sit. There's going to be pro judges here. So even though it's not a pro show, there's going to be regional, national, and pro judges all at this table looking at us on stage. I've set the bar really high. All I really have to do is get 5th place in this first competition in order to do the next one, but I don't want 5th place. That's not good enough. So I've raised my own bar to say that I want to attempt to win the overall title of this show, because that to me is saying, like, you're not just getting by, you are the best, and that's the best that you could be. So like that's why I have that personal goal for this Kentucky show. I haven't competed at home here in front of my friends since 2010. That was the last time I did a show in front of my hometown. So this show particularly, no one has put this pressure on me, but I feel a little bit pressured to perform my absolute best, because I do know a lot of the judges, and I know a majority of the audience. I know a lot of the competitors. I know the expediters. I mean, this is my turf. So there's a pressure there to win, and it's something that I want anyway. Of course I want to win, but just the thought of like, oh shit, now I really have to, what if I mess up? Like, what if I don't do my best?
Hi, I'm Steve Mazzoni with the Muscle Monkey Grill. We're here to sponsor the Kentucky Derby Classic. She's definitely disciplined. I follow her on Facebook, and just what she does, it's discipline, dedication, and it's just a lot of hard work. 2-a-days, following a strict diet. Diet's most of it. And I look up to all that do it.
Oh my gosh, I'm winning! It's so hot up here.
My name's Gary Udit. I'm the head judge here at the Kentucky Derby Festival Championships. Do them on the amateur level all the way up to the Olympia Championships.
Do you agree with the statement, hard work beats talent, and talent doesn't work hard?
Absolutely. I mean, talent is a huge part of the sport. Your genetic makeup is a huge part of what you ultimately can be, but I've seen a lot of people with great genetics just waste them and get beaten by people who chose to work hard.
I must tell you that it's probably more difficult to judge our regional level events like this than it is to judge the Olympia.
What if somebody comes in, they're looking great, they don't know how to pose? Can that be a pitfall?
It's the pitfall, actually. We see great bodies at every event. They walk on stage, terrific body, and they don't have a clue how to pose or do their stances or their presentation. So they wind up placing lower than they otherwise would have. It's the pitfall.
So sometimes if they look the best, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win.
We have great bodies at every event that take somewhere between second and 10th when they should have won if their presentation was correct.
Pros, you might as well make the assumption that they are all using something. At the level we're at, while a lot of people use, not everyone does. Autumn being one example. I know she's a 100% natural athlete. She's not using anything. I have other people that I'm coaching who are also natural.
In Autumn's competition, will she be up against people who are chemically enhanced?
Absolutely, she will be.
And do you think that handicaps her whatsoever?
Just means we have to work a little harder and smarter.
So she can defeat those people who are on.
She has in the past, so I know that she can. And other competitors that I work with have defeated people who were on. Sometimes people will use the chemicals as an excuse to be lazy because they will give you that ability to be a little bit lazy with your training and diet.
Do you think that many people outside the sport have automatically assume that someone who looks great is probably chemically enhanced?
I think people inside the sport assume that. There's a lot of people in this gym who make that assumption that if you get on stage, then you're probably using. And that simply isn't true. Not everybody is. A lot of the general public, they don't appreciate bodybuilding. Are muscles really less attractive than somebody walking around fat? I don't think so.
That's frustrating to have to go home and say, do I have to do that to win a show? It's always been a question in the back of my mind. I'm not ready to make that jump yet, though, because I would feel like once I went there, I wouldn't be able to look back at myself and say, I did everything that I could. And I don't believe that that's my honest answer. If someone said, Autumn, did you try everything that you did before you took steroids ever? I would have to say, at this point in my life, I would have to say no. So this is what I eat. This is what I eat every 2 hours, or every couple of hours. This morning I had eggs and oats and a banana, and then I have 2 rice cakes, lightly salted, and almond butter, tablespoon of almond butter. So I eat that every few hours right before I go on stage. And the idea is to get something high glycemic, so a quick absorbing sugar, but also with the rice cakes, that kind of, since they're dry, they sort of pull more water where they should be into the muscle cell and away from the skin. So I kind of have to eat these based on how I look. So if I feel like I'm at my maximal muscular fullness and at my minimal water, subcutaneous water, that's when I have to stop eating it. So that's a judgment call too that I have to make, like right before I go on stage. Do I eat a couple more rice cakes or do I just skip it? So everybody eats something different. Some people eat candy. Some people eat like salmon and asparagus. I don't know why. And let's see. This is my suit. This is my prejudging suit that I might wear at the next show. So that's why I'm wearing 2 of them, to see which one I like better. And this is my nighttime suit. So I'll wear a red suit tonight. It'll be different. The suit itself was like $80. This suit probably has about, I'm gonna say roughly $250 worth of rhinestones on it. But if someone were to make it, then they would charge for time and like drying time. And I looked at a suit that was similar to the amount of stones that I have on this, and they run for like $800 to $1,000. I want this to go up.
I am Autumn Cleveland's mother. She is trying for her pro card in the Kentucky Muscle Fitness competition. I've never seen her more ready. She has broken this down into every step of the game and is on top of it. She's dedicated, she's focused, She's intelligent. She's compassionate. She understands every step of a person's progress. And she's very empathetic to their insecurities and what they need to inspire them. I've never seen anybody more professionally ready for competition.
My, hey, hey. Rock and roll is here to stay. It's better to burn out than to fade away. My, hey, hey. Well, out in the blue and into the black. They gave you this, but you paid for that.
There was only three other girls in my class. I'm kind of not all that excited about it. I wanted there to be a big group of girls. I want to be there a lot, but I mean, I felt good. I felt really good. I thought it was funny that they kept turning us back to back. So that was exciting. So they didn't move me, which doesn't necessarily mean anything. But usually it's a good sign because they got you right where they want you. They did move 2 other girls, but right now we have a 1st through 4th placing, obviously, because there's only 4 girls. So we're all getting a sword tonight, or a trophy. This cool table here. But who knows? Who knows? It's a good sign usually when they don't move you, but that doesn't, what I'm saying right now doesn't necessarily mean that that's the number 1 spot. I could be in the 2nd spot or something and they move the other girls. So we'll see. I feel so good. Nothing could have been more perfect for this. I'm actually relaxed. I was a little shaky because I hear everybody and I get excited. And you are posing. I mean, it's hard to hold that for a few minutes. Luckily, my class was short in that way that I didn't have to pose too long. but they've never just turned us front and back like that, so I kind of missed a little side turn, and that's okay. But I'm comfortable in front of the judges, so it was like I was just hanging out with my buddies from the gym. So that's nice. I'm excited. I don't really know what to do next. I guess I go find out from my coach what I eat, and then perfect anything that if I do win my class, if I end up going to overall, try to perfect anything that I can to ensure that I have a shot at that. So I might practice my posing a little more if my coach thought I could have posed better. He'll tell me what to eat. Don't know about water, but I've never felt better. Never felt better.
What's your name?
Carla Skita.
How do you feel like you did tonight?
I feel like you did pretty well. There's definitely some good competition in there, and I think everyone worked really hard. I think it was a great show so far.
How many were in your class?
4. I had 4 in my class, yeah.
How do you feel like you did?
I feel like I did pretty well. I definitely prepared pretty hard, but there's some other good girls out there, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I heard you guys had pro judges for this.
Actually, we have 3 pro judges out there, including myself, except I'm back here today. Gary Udig actually judges the Olympia, and Mike and Teddy judge the Kentucky Pro.
So what does that mean for the competitors? They get to have a taste of somebody who's at the pro level who is actually judging them. Is that correct?
Well, it's not too often that on the amateur level you get pro level judges. These guys help the panel out, make decisions, just kind of show people what direction the sport's going in. And these guys are also best judges in the business, so the girls have got a great opportunity of placing correctly.
Starting with 4th place, going to number 40, Rachel step into 4th. 3rd place tonight goes to number 288, Melissa Rayburn. 2nd place goes to number 175, Autumn Cleveland. That makes Carla your Class B champion. And ladies, if you would lay those swords down on the floor in front of you, we would love to have an MPC victory pose. Clasp hands, right overhead. Yeah, they are, top 4, Class B figure. Thank you, ladies. Next out, Class C. We've got 11 ladies in Class C tonight, so the class gets a little bigger. And here they come.
Her philosophy about life that drives her, and I think is leading to her success.
So if someone has to, if you all watch this and you see me fail and I keep going, who knows what's going to happen, but hopefully I can inspire or motivate someone else to do the same thing. By me not giving up on my goal, I'm hoping to open up someone's eyes to not give up on theirs. Because the death of a dream is the saddest thing to me. Especially when it's external. Especially when someone else puts it in your head that you can't do something. That's the worst. That is the absolute worst feeling that I would never want to look back on my life and say, you know what, I didn't do that contest, or I didn't attempt that because people said I couldn't do it.
Who knows where she's going to end up? These are steps in a process.
Most people celebrate for second place, but I use it for motivation. I trained for 16 weeks for first place, and I got second. Looking back, I think I just have one regret. I feel like I could have worked harder and that I wasn't pushing myself to my maximal potential. It's up to me whether I want to win or lose, and I found that out. I will win. Not immediately, but definitely.